Shut your mouth. Yeah, the name is Show Dog Rap. Yo, I get down. The ladies love the way I have. Just fooling around, guys. What? Was I too loud? Look, I'm a magical rap battle assassin, everlasting. Ain't no need for a caption. Me and my team, we so heroic. There's no opponent that can take us down.
Good evening and welcome to another edition to the Superfan Addicts Podcast. I'm your host, Ray Showdog Prisby, and hey, we got an extra special show for you tonight. But before we get started, let's say the starting lineup. She's part fitness guru, part podcast queen, and full-time dog pound diva. You know her as the fancy girl, repping the Browns harder than a linebacker blitz. When she's not crushing workouts, she's dropping hot takes every week on Bougie Sports Podcast and keeping the energy high, the hydration higher, and the Browns fandom at maximum volume. Make some noise for the one and only Lana Carino! She's sharp, she's sassy, and she's serving hot takes like it's a game day every day. A weekly fixture on the Ulterior Motive Sports Podcast Network. She got Browns knowledge deeper than the dog pound and opinions stronger than a Myles Garrett pass rush. Whether she's breaking down plays or breaking hearts with the Browns loyalty, one thing's for sure, Christy Akuti does not come to play. Give it up for the queen of commentary, Christy Akuti. And last, and certainly not least, she's got a sewing machine in one hand and Brown's pride in the other. And when she's done, you're gonna wish your game day outfit came with a runway. Tamara Chapman, better known as the Diamond Dog, is designing most of the jaw-dropping original Cleveland Browns outfits the dog pound has ever seen. Sparkle, fringe, and fur. If Myles Garrett wore it, it would go viral. This girl needs her own clothing line like yesterday. Give it up for the fashion queen of the dog pound scene, Tamara, the Diamond Dog Chapman. Woo! Woo, 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 woo. You know what? I just realized that this was an all-female cast tonight. So you know what? Thursday night, all females. What does that remind y'all of?
Ladies' night.
So, as a tribute to everybody that's ever frequent a ladies' night in their life,
woo!
Here we go. This is a little something for y'all.
Free drinks?
Yeah, that's right, Christy. Hello.
Yeah, where's our drinks, Ray?
I think I gotta go down and bring it up.
Soon as we step in the club, everyone.
And we're like,
hey, that was
Free.
How's everybody doing tonight?
great.
Good.
Okay, so
Ready to
what I
talk
usually
some
do,
football.
after the introductions, I go around and let every person or guest say a little bit about themselves. So, Lana, we're gonna start it off. Tell us what you're doing. If you got any special events coming up, anything like that.
Gosh, like I told you, your introduction to me was unbelievable. I mean, you really gave it all. I'm a fitness instructor, huge Cleveland sports fan all around. We have our Bougie Sports podcast. So coming up on July 8th, we have a great show to start breaking down the Browns as we go into training camp. So that's what we have coming up.
Okay. Chrissy!
Ray.
What you got going on? Tell us a little something that's going on.
All right. So we have Anthony Griggs' 4th annual Browns Legends football camp coming up on July 17th, 18th. Sorry, July 18th. It's a Friday. It's at Cleveland Central Catholic High School, Stefanski Field. Like I said, this is the 4th year in a row that they're holding it. And we've had some really awesome coaches in the past that are former Browns players. And we're going to have a lot more former Browns players and maybe some current ones and maybe some special guests. So if you are not going, you can always donate to send a kid to the camp, because we love sending kids to camp so that they can learn from the former football players.
Okay. And I actually went to the one last year, and it was really great. And like she said, it's for a great cause. Tomorrow, the Diamond Dog. What's up?
Well, hey, it looks like one of the things that I'm going to be doing is supporting these two ladies in their endeavors. Looking forward to it. In my day life, I work in tech, so kind of rigid, lots of logic involved. So the Browns, sewing, creative things are my jam because it means that I get a break from my everyday. Recently, I have committed to going to the Browns game in London. And to go along with that, I've reached out to a bunch of Browns girlies and have offered to make them some awesome satin capes that say dog pack on the back. I have a sample here. So it'll be the first time that I'm taking that foray into sewing for other girly Browns fans. I'm really looking forward to it. That's the major thing that I'm doing, but buckling down, getting a lot of sewing done so I'm not stitching things together 20 minutes before I need to be at the game. That's what I'm doing with my time.
Oh my God, I love that.
One quick question.
I love you.
I know,
love
I'm like,
too.
I
How
need
did we
some
not
better
meet
clothes.
already?
I know, and we have matching crowns. Like, how do we not know each other?
Yes. I made this crown just for today.
I got a question for you, Diamond Dog.
Yep.
Do you make men's outfits? Because I've seen some of your outfits, and they are, when I say stunning, they are just.
Thank you. I typically don't. But I alter. I will alter. Men's clothing is so difficult. So I will do alterations.
That's
I'll
fair.
do all kinds of things to make them fit better and look really fabulous. But I'm a women's apparel sewer.
I got you. In other words, you found a lane and you stand in that lane.
I
Right?
stay in that lane.
I got you. Okay, so you know what? Now that we have the pleasantries out the way, let's get this show on the road. So our friend Tony Grossi is back in the news again. And basically, the word that he's putting out is that the Browns are going to be drafting their quarterback for the future next year. So and I'm not going to read the whole thing, the whole soliloquy that he wrote, but basically he's saying there's nobody on the roster that's worthy of a starting quarterback. So we're already looking ahead to next year, which I guess my only problem is we haven't even gone into training camp with these guys and the hitting and all that, and he's already writing this season off. What do you ladies think about that? Let's start it with Londa. What do you think about Tony's Grossi latest hot take?
Ironically, that was a lot of what we were hearing, or at least I was hearing after the draft. Remember when the first pick went by and everybody, they passed up that pick and they went down to 5 and everybody like, what the heck's happening? And then they didn't go QB, and then they kept going and kept going. And that's all I kept hearing from everyone, from my trusted sources, I guess I should say, was that the QB for the Browns, a starter, is next draft. So we're just going to get by with picking up these couple here, and we've picked up Joe, we pick up Kenny. Don't forget, we still have Deshaun, guys. So, long story short, I don't know if I agree with them because, like you said, we haven't seen anybody do anything yet. Could Shador come out and be that guy? Could Gabriel come out and be that guy? I don't know. I don't feel real confident in Kenny Pickett.
Right.
And I love it. I am wacko for Flacco till the day that man dies. But I don't think he's not going to be it either. Let's be real.
Right.
So I think he's kind of right.
Chrissy, what's your take?
Okay, first of all, Angel, close your ears because I'm going to bash Kenny too. It is teeny tiny hands. I think Tony is just talking out of his you-know-what, like he usually does. You can't sit there and we are not going to pick up Manning, okay? He wasn't even a first-string quarterback at college, all right? He's not going to be the answer, okay? Just because he has the last name doesn't mean jack shit. We do have Shador. We do have Gabriel Dillon. We do have Joe. Joe's going to be there this year. That's great. The guys are going to learn from him. Shador's buddies with Tom Brady, who's the GOAT, and he's learning from him. Angel, I can't see what you're saying because you're on my phone and I don't have my glasses on. But anyway, we have a franchise quarterback with us. We do. And it ain't Watson because, no, we need to forget about him altogether. Nobody cares about him anymore. It's going to be Shador. We know that. As long as he keeps his gas pedal, off the floor, he'll be fine.
Okay. Diamond Dog, what's your thought?
I'm pretty closely aligned with Christy on this. I think that Tony is just talking. He's just talking smack, trying to make a little splash, get people talking, and he's gotten our attention. I don't think any of us has seen enough or knows enough to say we absolutely will be looking for our franchise quarterback in this next draft. I agree. I think Shador has the skills. I think he has the mindset, the physicality. Flacco needs to be here. Hopefully he can stay on the field all or the majority of the season. Give Shador a bit more time to get some reps with the first team and mature. But I'm really positive about the prospects that we have in this quarterback room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And see, my whole thought process is, man, can we at least make it through preseason and live action
before we talk crazy talk?
Poo-pooing, what's that word? Poo-pooing the season?
Poo-pooing.
Yeah, I mean, this.
Poo-pooing.
But then again, I guess, the old saying, consider the source, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and quite frankly, with the way that season ticket prices are constantly rising, I don't want to go through another season where I don't have a good team and a good quarterback on the field. So I'm very, very much hoping that we make a great showing this year.
Absolutely. So switching gears, we're moving up to Mason Graham. And so with Mason Graham, basically, if and I know you girls remember, but in the beginning of the OTAs, they were saying he looked out of shape. They even had pictures of him throwing up.
Yeah.
We made a mistake. Now it's basically done a 360 and turned all the way around, and now they're singing praises, and he walks on water. He can cut sliced bread. You name it, he can do it. So I guess the question is, ladies, do you think that Graham has gotten past whatever rookie jitters he may have had or whatever, and he's turned the corner and he's ready to step up? What do you think, Chrissy? What do you think about that?
Okay, so he came from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
That team up north. Like, that's the first that I had against them. But okay, my nephew is like a freak about working out. He works out to make himself puke. And that's what Mason Graham did. He worked out so hard that, yes, he made himself puke. Big deal. So what? he was working his butt off. I think it shows, his character because he stayed out there and kept working his ass off. Jamie Foxx did it in the movie. Why can't he do it in real life? So anyway, he's he's definitely showed Schwartz a side that Schwartz loves. And I hate to say this, but Jim Harbaugh said like this kid is a super freak anyway as a human, like on the field. So I hate taking what Jim Harbaugh said, but he doesn't play for them anymore. He plays for us. He wears orange and brown, so I'm okay with it now.
Okay. Tamara, the Diamond Dog. What's your thought?
I highly respect Schwartzy's assessment of him, and he's in that camp. He's meeting with the best to ever do it, Miles Garrett, and learning every day. And if Miles is high on him, and I think he can spot talent, Schwartzy is high on him, that's actually good enough for me. And my opinion is, have you really been at camp if you haven't barfed? Like, come on.
Right? Thank you.
All right, Stefanski girl, you're up next. What you got for us?
Yeah, I can attest that yes, there is barfing during working out, and it's a-okay.
Right?
But you also throw in those nerves as well, too. Like we were saying, here he is, new environment. Definitely, it's a different pace. No matter what anyone says, college versus NFL is a different country. And I have heard a lot of high praise from Schwartz as well. But if you remember, when he first got to Cleveland, Miles Garrett was right there. He was excited to meet him. He was excited to work with him. He was there to welcome him in the building. And at the time, remember, Miles was having his up and down. So I was really excited to see him be excited about Mason Graham, right? And you're right. Everything I've seen since, the first couple of days, he's relaxed. He's showing himself and he's showing what he can do. And he's, fighting for his spot.
Okay.
He's a little cutie pie.
Yeah.
So,
he really is.
I guess for me, again, it's OTAs. They're playing against air.
Right.
No pass. But again, the media has to write about something. So I mean that's a good thing for them to write about. But yeah, from all accounts, the guy's a stud. He's putting in work. So
yep.
I'm good. Hey, I'm good. I'm good with it.
Mm-hmm.
Word on the street is I heard that they may be talking to Amari Cooper about coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let you go. Diamond Dog. What you thinking?
So personally, I would wholeheartedly welcome Amari Cooper back. I wasn't pleased with his trading last year. I think he's a good guy. I think that he can really add something to the team that we're missing. We want to have strong players for these quarterbacks, whoever is on the field to throw to. I like his attitude. I think he's in a really good spot in his career where he's been in Dallas, he's been here, and then Buffalo. I think he's learned a few things, some really great things, playing with Allen. I just think, he's constantly growing, and I'd love to have him back here. And hey, great news. His jerseys are on sale at Rally House right now. So if we go pick them up, we just, get a former player, current player jersey. Hopefully he stays number 2. I say it's a win-win across the board.
Can you grab me one of those?
You're not going to get very much seriousness out of me, Ray. I'm just going to cut up.
Stefanski girl, help your girl out.
Okay. Diamond Dog, I'm going to send you a very large jersey of his, and you can make me a jersey dress out of it if he comes back.
You got it.
That's what I want.
Absolutely.
No, with the Browns, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, let's just give anything a friggin' try, right? So we want to come back.
Oh, God.
I would not say no. And you want to know something? Think about it, you guys. Let's go back to the season with Joe and Amari together. And I don't know how many times I yelled, Coop, like a million
Yes.
times. Like I was jumping up in the air. Those two have an insane connection. So, yeah, if we're going to put those two together, I'm down with it.
Chrissy.
I like Jerry Judy better. I think Jerry Judy fits our game better. And I don't want Amari Cooper back because you could tell he was blatantly missing catches towards the end of his career with us. Like, if you're going to treat us like that, no. I look at, okay, this is your job, okay? You are still supposed to be performing if you want to get a promotion or move on to the next place and have the next place hire you. So I think he still should have been performing, but he was, like I said, blatantly missing catches. And I just would rather move on from that. I just like Odell. Let's move on from that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like,
God, yes.
Oh, girl.
I never want to see that.
you know,
Ever again.
those guys they're too much personality. I like Jerry Judy. He's not out there trying to showboat. He's not out there all about him. And he makes plays happen, and he's fun to watch. So let's just keep watching him and let him be our first WR, and we'll build off of that. I don't want Cooper back.
Hey, Ray, are we
I
allowed
love
to go
Judy.
off script here a little bit and talk about Jerry Judy?
Well, let me get mine, and then we can come back to you.
Yeah.
All righty.
So my whole thing is, I think the whole conversation even started because not so much that what he could do, it was just that our receiver room is mighty thin. I mean, after Judy, who do we have? So I think that's probably what started the conversation because the media kept putting out there, we have no receiver rooms. So in that aspect, I could see possibly having a conversation, but I'm kind of like with everybody else, I think, and with our friend Angel Ortiz over at the Bearded Podcast, the Bearded guys, he said Cooper is a wash.
Oh,
yes, thank you.
Angel, I'm agreeing with you. And he's saying Cooper is old.
How old is he? I don't even remember how old he is.
He's older. Well,
Like
he's
early
not as old
30s,
as
right?
Methuselah,
Yeah.
but he's up there.
Oh.
Yeah. So Diamond Dog, what did you want to touch on?
No, I just wanted to talk about Jerry Judy for a moment. Not only is he great on the field, I mean, that game against Denver, aside from the fact that we lost, man,
Yes.
that game made my life.
Oh,
He
I
showed
happened,
out.
yes, he showed
Judy,
out.
Judy,
That's the
Judy,
way, Judy, that's the way you want to
Yes,
show up with your former
yes.
team. And I happened to live in Colorado the 2 years that Denver won the Super Bowl. So I'm still very scarred by that.
Oh,
But speaking of Jerry, not only a great guy on the field, very briefly off the field, um I went to the Pro Bowl this year and all the Pro Bowl festivities. There weren't a ton of Browns fans there. He literally called my niece and I out of our seats to come down onto the pit, which is right on the sideline, had his girlfriend wife, take
oh,
a picture of us with him. So awesome. So when I got back home, I just kept thinking about him and how great he was and how great he was to all of the fans. And I sponsored 15 young men to go to his camp this year. And I went to the camp. I said hello to him. He took pictures with the boys. He's just awesome. So I'm very happy I'm
oh.
very happy with what he's doing on the field, off the field. Just a great guy and like a beautiful young family. So I'm very much
I
in the
was
Jerry Judy
supposed to
camp.
be at the Pro Bowl. Ah, I
Oh,
was supposed to be there
you
What
gotta go
happened?
next
because
year.
it's in Orlando. Okay, so I was supposed to go for Cleveland 13, but we approached them about credentialing too late, which ended up being a godsend because I ended up with the worst flu ever. I mean, like I was so sick, I missed the Pro Bowl, I missed the Super Bowl even. So, but next year, because it's right here in my backyard, just about it's 2 hours away, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
So
it was great.
hopefully we can meet up.
Yeah, I will be there. We'll connect. I was on a
Yay.
flight back with Joe Botonio So
Oh
that
my
was also
Yes.
awesome. I mean, you guys, it was such a wonderful, wonderful experience. I gave
Mhm.
and I'll stop talking here, Ray. I don't want to take over too much, but I gave just so you know, I
He
gave
expects it. We're women.
Minka, yeah, I gave Minka Fitzpatrick the business.
Oh yeah.
And I recorded it, and he just smiled like the prettiest smile you ever wanted to knock off of someone's face. But you know, I've seen his work. But he was, you know, he was such a nice guy. I really became a fan of players that I would have never expected to
Yeah.
think kindly of because of that Pro Bowl experience. So it was great. I hope to see you there next year.
For sure. I'm working on Cleveland 13. I'm like, we are not missing it this time. And if I'm like on my deathbed, I don't care. I'm gonna have my husband drive me up there because
Get an
I
IV
ain't
bag
missing
and
it
go.
again.
Yeah.
Right? Yep.
All
Drag
right.
an
Yeah.
IV with you. I'm
All
here.
righty. So we've jumped from Tony Grossi to our favorite media darling,
Oh.
Ooh.
Mary Kay. And basically,
Uh,
basically, she kind of got her hand caught in the cookie jar because and I guess all media they do it, but I mean it's hard to tell which way she's going. Because one minute Shador is garbage, next minute he's the best thing since sliced bread. Now he's back to being garbage again. And she kind of got called out on it. And I guess my whole thing is Cleveland media really for the Browns, or are they just operating on some other capacity that maybe I didn't get the memo on? Lana, can you maybe open my eyes some and tell me what's going on with the Cleveland media? Because this is Cleveland media. I can see
Yeah.
the media from Pittsburgh or whoever else, you know, giving negative feedback, but our own hometown media?
I know.
Come on, Sebastian, girl, talk to me. Tell me something.
I feel like I don't want to stereotype all, let's say. Like I've had a lot of interaction personally with Cameron Justice, and I love her.
Oh my God.
I think to me, media should be factual. Leave your personal opinions out of it. Leave, whatever out of it. Just give us the facts, and the questions that they ask. And so I'm not sure if you all saw this, but early on when the rookies came, she was interviewing Dylan Gabriel, and she said something to him. She asked him a question about I don't know exactly how she worded it, but she said something about being in the shadow of Shadur, and he said, "I am not going to answer any questions that will divide our locker room." And I was
yeah.
like, "I love you." You
Yep.
have to give it back to her. Those guys have to just do that kind of thing. But yeah, she's like a poopster media, just like Tony.
It's almost like they're trying to get clickbait or something.
Yes, it
It's
is.
like
Mhm.
they put something out there just to get the negative feedback or something. I don't know. Chrissy,
I like it.
what you got for us?
well, I don't see a lot of their stuff unless I go looking for it because I'm down here in Florida. So um, the stuff I see is mostly positive stuff because that's the group that I formed with my friend was the Positive Browns group. Um, I mean, yeah, she needs to leave her feelings about Shador and the quarterbacks, to the side. I say my feelings, but my feelings it has to do with what they're doing in the community and how they're doing, there at the practices and stuff. It doesn't have to do with like, well, this is how I feel about them, and I don't think they're going to work out. Just let them be. Like, go there, tell us what you saw them do, and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Diamond Dog.
Yeah, I'm there with you. It just seems that, you know, her comments are so unfounded and just very extreme considering the situation. But I do love the way, veterans have stepped forward. Baker, former player here, stepped forward and said, this isn't cool. So I love the way the other players are rallying around. And I mean, either she will get the message or she won't. But it was just so extreme, so over the top that, like someone mentioned, maybe clickbait. I think it must be something like that. But stop with the bias. Just give the kid a chance because he is still a kid. I don't care what anyone says. And
Yeah.
I would just love for her to be a bit more objective in her reporting.
Mhm.
But that's probably not going to happen.
Ray, can I piggyback on something real quick, Ray?
Go, absolutely.
You called her Cleveland's media darling. I thought I was Cleveland's media darling.
Chrissy, I was being sarcastic when I called her media darling, because
Called her. Okay.
everybody knows that you're one of the media darlings. But
Absolutely.
James Frank brings up a great point, because he's right. She did the same thing to Deontay Johnson.
Yep.
When we interviewed him, and she kept trying to go negative, and he was like, "Nope, I ain't going for it." And he kept it going, kept it positive. And I guess it seems like a lot of these young players are getting media training, which is great, because they go in knowing how to answer these questions, and I love it. Yeah. So
If they would have pulled me in as the Browns positivity coach, I could be out there smacking Mary Kay across the face when she's asking nasty stuff like that. But the Browns haven't hired me on yet as the positivity coach. I'm still waiting for that call. I should have it
a
any day now.
campaign. We need
That's
to
right.
we need a campaign, an online
right.
campaign for this.
Yes, we do. So our next topic, or I should say our next, is what we heard on the street. Help us out, Cody. So the latest word on the street is, and I've been hearing this probably for the last couple of weeks, but one of the quarterbacks are going to be traded before we go into training camp. So ladies, if you had to pick one of the quarterbacks that you thought was going to be traded, who do you think is going to be traded? And we're going to go with Diamond Dog first. What's your thoughts, ma'am?
If anyone, I would just hope it would be Pickett.
Why would you say that?
Well, I would say Pickett because obviously I want Joe here. I obviously want Shador here. I also think that, just thinking about the way the draft went, would anybody even want to take a trade with Sanders? I think that to take Sanders in a trade, some of these other teams would have to admit that they were wrong and perhaps made a mistake. So I don't think that's happening. And I like I like Gabriel. I just like him as a human being. I think he's a cool kid. So Pickett.
Pickett it is. Pesky girl. What's your thoughts?
Same thing. My tiny.
Wait, whoa. Time out. Hey, ain't no cheating now. Don't be looking at her answers. You got to come up with your own answer. Now, if that's your own answer, that's fine. I don't want nobody looking on each other's paper. So it's
but you want to know
honest answer? Go ahead with it.
No, that is honestly my answer. But you want to know something interesting? I had heard today. I was listening to I think somebody in the morning this morning when I was driving around, and they were saying that they actually don't see us getting rid of anyone. That we have the room on the 53 man to keep all four, and we've seen in the past that we may need all four. But if we had to choose today, if I was in charge of choosing, I would also choose Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Okay. Chrissy.
I need one of those hands. I need that hand.
Is it my turn? Can I go? Okay. I wonder who I would choose.
Little hands.
Kenny Pickett. If I can't choose Sean, it's going to be Kenny Pickett.
So wait, so
That's all I got.
is it up to me to make it unanimous?
I see a trend.
Well, okay, so let's look at it. Let's look at it the way it unfolded. When Kenny Pickett was the first quarterback that we picked up, and we got rid of DTR at the same time. So in my mind, we were just trading third string quarterbacks. Got rid of a third string quarterback. We brought in a third. In my mind, now if that might not be the actuality, but that's what I was thinking. Okay, so we just traded third string quarterback. Then we brought in Flacco, and then we brought in the two rookies. So my whole take on it is, and I didn't look at anybody's answers, but yeah, Pickett.
It's unanimous.
Get him out of here with the quickness. I mean, like quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I know, and my
Poor
favorite
Angel.
Kevin, he tries to say nice things about him, but I'm like, Kev, I know you got to say those things, but you really don't have to say those things.
So wait, real quick.
I think it's a great idea because what they're doing is they're throwing all the other teams off. You know, the one player is like, oh yeah, if they were to start, they'd start Kenny Pickett today. Yeah, right, dude, but that's fine.
Well, you know,
Watch all the other teams keep an eye on Kenny Pickett.
That actually came out. I seen that today. That Pickett and Dylan. No, Gabriel. We're getting all the preseason work. And
so
then
I think it's just all the other teams off.
They're just showcasing them so that they'll be trade bait. And I said, oh well, yeah, that makes sense.
Diabolical.
But, us as fans, we really don't know, and we won't know until it actually happens.
Absolutely.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
So next up, we got Quishon Judkins and Dylan Sampson. And to me, I guess my question to you ladies, do you think these two young rookies are enough? And I don't want to use the word forget, but do you think it'll ease the fact that Chubbs is no longer here if they have great seasons? Go ahead, Stefanski girl. I'm gonna let you go first.
Of course you are, because I'm so still Nick Chubb emotional. I'm very emotional on this topic, so it's hard for me to like be objective about it. Does that make sense? You're right in the sense of not saying like you can't forget Nick Chubb.
Right.
To me, you can't replace Nick Chubb, right? Do these two have the ability to maybe go out there and come close over time? Maybe. You know, again, we haven't seen a lot yet, right? So, but those are I'm just going to say really hard shoes to fill.
Got you. Okay, that's fair. Diamond Dog, what's your thoughts?
My goodness, we are brain twins because I am so extremely emotional about Nick Chubb. So the short answer is no. This guy right here, this guy, it's going to take me a very, very, very long time to get over this. If I ever do, I've never even watched the replay of his injury. So short answer, no, I don't think that either of these guys will be enough of a hit to ease this pain because it's emotional. It's our city. It's who we are. It's like heads down, hardworking, brave, courageous guy who's also a great football player. So, I mean, they would, no, they would have to have like off the charts, Pro Bowl, crazy record-setting seasons to even measure up at all to me.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Chrissy, bring it on home.
All right. So this is where I show how far removed out of Cleveland I am, and it's over 1,300 miles. I'm looking at it as Chubb is gone. It sucks, but I think that Judkins can totally take over as our first string running back, main guy. Nobody thought that we'd ever find somebody as good as Jim Brown. We had other running backs in the 80s that were amazing that, I grew up watching. we got to go through the cycles. Something's going to happen. Unfortunately, he got hurt twice, and it's time to move on from him. Now, we
Actually,
got
3 times.
Duncans from Ohio State. Well, yeah, but not twice with us. But Duncans runs out of his pants. That's how fast this kid is. And I'm
I wish I could
excited
do
to
that.
see that on Sunday. No, but I love him, and he's a hometown boy. You know, you could tell he's close with his family. He let his mom answer the phone during the draft. That shows a lot of character and a lot of personality. And not just because he's a Buckeye, but he's going to bring a lot of heart to this team, I think, if everybody opens up their hearts and gives him a chance. But you gotta, you know, grieve Nick Chubb, and then, like I said, open your hearts to Junkie.
Yeah. You know what, Christy, too, I think, and I've said this a lot over the last few weeks, is that my brain knows the business and reality of where Nick is, but my heart is like, I want Nick Chubb on that field when he's 95 years old. You know what
And
I
I
mean?
felt that too back in
Like,
the 80s when Bernie left.
it's so hard. Like, it's
Yeah.
just so hard. Like the business, but but I think I agree with you. I think Judkins is a beast. He'll be.
Yeah, I think I nothing against Judkins, not taking anything away from him, but Nick Chubb was just special
Mhm.
in a way that it is very difficult to articulate. And it's not just because my favorite uncle nicknamed me Chub when I was a chubby kid. So I wear that. It's like a badge of honor, but he is just so special. So, if you're wearing the brown and orange and your name isn't Deshaun, I am going to root for you no matter what. So, get
Yes,
it running
yes,
back
I
court.
love you. I love you
yes,
so
yes.
much.
Perfect.
Okay. Let me bring it on. Let me bring it on home, because first and foremost, there is no replacing Nick Chubb. But having said that, I think these two young guys have the potential. And can you remember when Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they were like our 1-2
love
punch?
Yin and yang. Yep.
Yes.
I honestly believe if we give these two guys a chance, they're going to be our next 1-2 punch, and we're going to love them.
Oh,
And again, we can still
Exactly.
see, that's the thing. We can still love Nick, and we're going to keep on loving him. But we're here in the present now, and I think these two young running backs could be something special. And I'm going to give them a chance.
of course.
You got to. They're wearing orange and brown.
Yeah.
That's right.
And their name's not Deshaun.
Right.
There you go.
No, number 4.
Wearing Phil's Dawson's. Don't even get me started.
That's right.
Don't even get me started.
You girls are going to love this
Right.
You girls are going to love this next topic. So it seems our favorite quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, has announced that this is his final last year. I don't even. I don't know if he's doing this, if it's for real, or if it's something at the end of the year. Well, I thought about it while I was in my rocker, and I think the year. His antics are. I'm just glad he's not part of the Browns, and not that I feel bad for the Steeler fans, but I do kind of feel. Girls, what do you think? What do you think is going on with Aaron Rodgers? And do you think whatever he's doing, is he actually for real, or is he basically trying to stir up more controversy? What's going on with him, Diamond Dog?
Well, I've thought about this quite a bit, and I said to myself, what is one thing that could make me like Aaron Rodgers even less than I already do? And I was like, is there a camera here? Like, did he hear me say it's become a Pittsburgh Steeler? Because clearly that was the thing. So, I think he's just drama. I think this is probably going to be his last season for no other reason than completely diminished skills. a cancer in the locker room and a jerk in the press. So, and I feel sorry for that woman that married him. I don't even know who she is or why it happened or what went down. I don't know. But, I'm trying to ignore him and just hope that he doesn't do anything to make life worse for our Will Howard. And yeah,
Right.
I'm just, typically when someone, and I don't care where they come from, signs with the Steelers, they're dead to me.
Ah,
And I've lived by that rule for every Buckeye that has ever signed with the Steelers until they leave. Has been a tough one for me to let go of. But anyway, this is about Roger, so I hope it's his last season, please. And I just can't wait for Miles to put that headstone up in the graveyard. Can't wait.
Absolutely. Chrissy.
she's back.
I'm back. Yeah, internet. Like it sucks down here and storming. But anyway, Aaron Rodgers, yeah, don't like him. Could care less that he's playing for Pittsburgh. In fact, actually, I'm glad he's playing for Pittsburgh because I don't think he's going to be that good. So
Nah,
he's going to be horrible for them. And, TJ Watt is still wanting to get paid. And, sorry, dude, you're not nearly as good as Miles. So you're not going to get Miles'
nope.
pay. But good luck. And then, like you said with Will Howard, Justin Fields needs to get the hell out of there too. Like, abandon ship. But yeah, I can't wait to watch this go down with Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers. And it's, yeah, fun. Big old substance fire. I love it.
Yes,
The
yes,
basket
yes.
girl, what you got for us?
I'm so just like my other two lady friends here. I am so excited that he is in black and yellow.
Yes,
Right? Go destroy
Make that
him.
team worse. Yep.
yes.
Right. Go just take that cancerous attitude over there. But again, like you said, Will Howard, I really don't want
Aw.
to see anything go down with him, right? I want
Yeah.
him to be mentored well, and he just isn't going to have it now.
No.
I was kind of hoping we were going to get him. When we were picking around Dylan Gabriel, I was like, why are we picking Will Howard?
Yeah.
But we didn't, whatever, but yeah, so see you down the road there, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And
he's. Go ahead. Somebody
I
was
was
gonna
just going to piggyback. I was just going to piggyback real quick and say, like, Aaron Rodgers isn't a bad quarterback. Like, I think he will be a good mentor for both Justin and Will. The thing is, he just can't play anymore. Like, he can give them good mentoring, but like playing, no, that's not happening. Not anymore. You're too old for that, dude. Sorry.
You're not Tom Brady, sir.
say.
Yeah.
So next up, we have they had C.J. Stroud in an interview, and he was talking about meeting Nick Chubb for the first time, and basically. And I'm just paraphrasing. He was saying, yeah, he's a real quiet guy, and I've been watching him since I was a kid, which that kind of gave off a damn he's old vibe. But I don't really think that he meant any harm. I just think that he was just showing his admiration, and those were the words that he chose at that particular time. My question to you, ladies, is what kind of season do you think Nick Chubb will have in Houston this year? Take us away, Chrissy.
Well, hopefully he can stay healthy. I think CJ is extremely excited to work with him because of the fact of he's Nick Chubb.
Mhm.
I hope that they do great, but not nearly as good as us, and that they don't do good against us. I hope that Nick Chubb actually finds a way to not play against us so that our defense doesn't hurt him. I mean, they wouldn't mean to, but stranger things happen.
Right.
Okay. Stefanski girl, you're up.
Yeah, it's hard to say how much he's really going to be playing. How well he is now. He failed the first round of physicals. So I'm hoping I would love nothing more than to see Nick Chubb be Nick Chubb. You know, he deserves it because he's a fantastic human. But again, kind of mirroring with what Christy said. I hope he balls out against everybody but us. Maybe he'll have a cold that day or something.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
He'll have a fever. Yeah, he's just got to lay down a little bit. Just a fever.
I know this is emotional for you, Diamond Dog, but I'm gonna need an answer for you.
Yeah, so even though, I'm extremely emotional about Nick Chubb, I do try to be a little objective. Um, so when Nick said how surprised he was that the Texans wanted him, and he even said, "Why do they want me?" I was like, "What do you mean? Why do they want you? We all want you." But whatever. I think that's because he feels a certain way about where he is, in terms of physically where he is, and then there also may be a mental component. However, I think that he has focus, I think that he has mental toughness, and he's certainly physically gifted. And I also think that the Texans, that they are a really good team. So I think that Nick will have a good year. I don't think that it'll necessarily be the Nick Chubb that we knew, or the Nick Chubb that we were always waiting to see break through, but I think he will have a really good year. And I'm super excited that he's playing there with CJ, and it's like, CJ, dude, Nick is 29. Okay, like, calm down. You didn't watch him your whole childhood. But I thought that was cute. And I just wish he could, wear number 24 again. But whatever. It's not my business. It's not my team. But I think he'll have a good season, and I hope he has an even better season than I'm anticipating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair. My thing is they have Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
And something tells me he's probably going to get the workman's share of the of all the
For
carries.
sure. Mm-hmm.
So then that means they're going to use Nick sparingly. Well, let's hope they do. But then something else comes to mind though, and I'm hoping that you ladies can remember. But there was a running back named Frank Gore, and they pretty much all but
San
wrote him
Francisco.
off because of his severe injuries. And I don't know if it was the grace of God or what it was, but he ended up playing like it seemed like another 50 years after. I mean, it was like he's still playing. So I'm really hoping Nick can have that type of career because he's more deserving of it, and two, I just think the way he rehabs and the way he takes care of his body, I think if anybody can do it, Nick can definitely do it.
Yeah, and I also think that Nick can catch the ball in the flat also. So I think that, so I think that's another dimension that he brings that a lot of running backs don't. So if they build, schemes specifically around him, but possibly, not in the way that he's always played, not necessarily those opportunities, I think it'll be great. And last thing that I will say is, Nick Chubb gets better as a game goes on, whereas other players start to not get better. So I think that's also something very, very positive about him. So if they can target him more so in the second half of games, I mean, I think he could really have a good season and help them out quite a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm sure you've heard by now, but the Brookfield Park deal is done, which means 2029, the Cleveland Browns will be playing in a dome.
Yep.
So ladies, what's your thoughts on us finally getting a dome? Because I know there's a contingent, there's part of the Browns fans that old school, let's keep it outside, that whole thing. And there's people like me that hate the cold, and I'm ready to go inside. So Stefanski girls, let's start us off.
Yeah, I'm a good mix of that too, Ray, because I'm a nostalgic person, and I like, the stadium by the lake. the Muni lot is, that's freaking a religious experience. I mean, we have to have the Muni lot, right?
Right.
But on the other side, times change, right? We evolve. This will give a lot of opportunity to the area too. I mean, it becomes a year-round venue. It brings, they're going to bring a lot of business into that area. Will it harm downtown a little bit? Probably. But I'm excited to not be as cold either, as you were saying. But yeah, part of me is just going to miss that old school stadium. And I will tell you, I was part of that focus group that the Browns invited to give ideas for the new stadium. And there were a couple season ticket holders there that have been season ticket holders since the old stadium. And they're quite upset about the fact that they're not going to have those, these people who come and they went with their grandparents. And now they're the grandfather and they bring their grandkids and their grandkids, kids. And these 2 seats have been their seats since forever. And they're not going to have that anymore. And that makes me kind of sad too.
Okay.
Long answer.
So I can remedy that right now. Pull those seats out and put them in the new stadium. Problem solved, right?
I know they're not going to do that though.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Nope.
Diamond Dog, what's your thoughts on this new stadium?
I don't think anyone will be surprised when I say that I'm extremely opposed to it. I'm a Cleveland girl through and through. I live in the city of Cleveland. I actually live not far within Cleveland, where they're building. The best game of my life was the game this year where we beat Pittsburgh in the blizzard.
Oh, it was awesome.
I mean, I didn't
Awesome.
even button my coat. I didn't. So I'm very, very bothered by this. And as a season ticket holder, I'm really, really bothered by it. And I think Northeast Ohio, right? I know they're going to be building a dome in Chicago. I get that. But, Green Bay, Buffalo, those are outdoor stadiums. And I put those cities and that fandom very similar to Cleveland. And we are going to lose that. We're going to lose it. So I want the stadium in Cleveland on the lakefront in the cold. That's what I love. So this one is a hard one for me.
So wait, let me stop you real quick. So does that mean that you won't be a fan anymore, or?
I will be a fan, but I will absolutely be a fan, but committing to going to every game, to being a season ticket holder, especially understanding what that price increase is going to look like. So the price increase, all of the things that come along with that, not having the Muni lot, and this stadium will attract a different type of fan.
Mm-hmm.
We will see much more transient fans. We will see a lot of corporate purchases. I'm just predicting a lot of corporations will buy tickets. They will gift those tickets. They will sell those tickets. I think that it's going to, especially in the section where I sit in the lower bowl, I think that it will change the culture of our game day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it, yeah.
What section are you?
130.
Okay, I'm 119.
Okay.
Oh, I just
Chrissy.
I'm under the overhang though, girl. I'm under the overhang.
Nice.
So I'm not really allowed to have an opinion on this because I live down in Florida. But to answer honestly, okay, so the one year I did come up for my birthday where Ray and I actually finally got to meet, it was grappling on us. And I have video of me and Ray picking up these little pieces of ice balls. It was so, and my husband had never seen anything like it because he was born and raised in Florida. So it was weird. And then we had to climb into the 500 section, which I felt like I was taking my life into my own hands any single time that I tried to go down those steps. Because I felt like I was just going to tumble right down. Thank God I'm not a drinker, because if I had, I can't imagine how the drunks get down those stairs except for like sliding on your butt.
Pretty much.
That's the safest way.
Yep.
But I think it's, I kind of agree with not having the dome because of the fact that, yeah, Green Bay, the Bills, the Ravens, um, the Steelers, even, they're all
Mhm.
outside stadiums. It's something about, the Northeast being outside, you know, it's going to be so
Yeah,
weird to get used to. And I used to go to the municipality stadium. I've been there before. Like, I knew that stadium better than I know the current stadium. And it's not going to be the same. So my vote was against it. But like I said, I really don't get a vote because I live down Florida.
Okay. So, well, I guess, well, you already know my take on it. I mean, I just can't take the cold. And I mean, that's really the bottom line for me. I would go to a lot more games if it was inside. So I guess I'm being selfish. And again, I'm not from Cleveland. It's an hour drive for me from Youngstown. So
Mhm.
I don't have the memories like a lot of you do.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's what it is. But you know what I just realized? We went a whole show and we didn't talk about Shador's speeding ticket. We didn't say one word about that. So that's going to be the last question
Yeah,
of the
I
night.
did. I
She
did.
brought
I
it
said he needs.
What
Yeah, I
I'm
said
saying,
he needs to leave his foot off the gas.
right. But I guess my whole thing is everybody has an opinion one way or the other on it. So let's talk about let's wrap the show up with that. Stefanski girl, what do you think? What's your thoughts on the speeding ticket? Is it a big deal or is it the end of the world?
Yeah, I don't think it's the end of the world. I mean, young kid driving fast. Yeah, I mean, I think, Ray, we talked about this at Sunday night in the Browns bitches that, the only thing, he's just got to keep in mind there are little people watching him. He's now being really watched. So he had no drugs in the car. He wasn't drinking. He didn't, it could have been a lot worse, right? Happy he didn't hurt anyone or himself, right? There's the mom in me coming out. But I'm not freaked out.
Okay. Diamond Dog, what's your thoughts?
I don't believe that anyone should break the law, but Miles Garrett, 7 speeding tickets, over
Mhm.
100 miles an hour, up to 120. So, I mean,
Flipped.
big deal.
Yeah, that's right.
Flipped, all kinds of other things, and it's all serious and shouldn't be speeding, but I just refuse to overreact or judge him too harshly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Agree.
Chrissy.
All right. Here's where his daddy comes in because I am very, very, very hard on his dad because his dad went to the same high school I did, and his dad's a schmuck. He wouldn't sign any autographs. He wouldn't stay and hang out with us. He sat with the faculty. He donated shoes. Anyway, being Dion's son, you know better. You cannot be drawing attention to yourself like that. Whether you think you're in a small town, that's where you're going to get it worse. So just, go run out of track somewhere. I said on Unite and on the Ulterior Motive Sports podcast last week, we were all of us were talking about it last week. Go run out of track. There's tracks in Ohio that you can go and drive cars on, and you can drive as fast as you want, and you got the money to do it, so go do it. Don't do it illegally. At least he wasn't drinking or have drugs.
Right.
Well, I think that's the first time you and I disagree.
And that's okay. That's okay. So
That's right.
My whole take on it, and it's pretty much what we talked about, Lana, the other night. My whole thing is heavy as the head that wears the crown. If you want to be legendary, and if you want to be the leader of men in that locker room, you lead by example. And and if you're going to be quarterback one and you're going to be up here, you have to be beyond reproach. You have to be crystal clean, crystal clear, everything especially when you're not on the field. So my whole thing is, yeah, you made a mistake. Hopefully you learn from it. But as the leader of this new team that you're on now, everybody's watching you. All eyes are on you. So you're gonna have to be legendary. And that's my whole take. That's my whole take.
Right.
So, ladies, hey, this was a great. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have to do this again, because this was a great. Y'all came prepared. Everybody was like, "You're gonna have girls on? What are they gonna talk about?" Hey, y'all killed that myth. Not only did y'all kill it, y'all kicked it out the door.
We got opinions.
We have opinions.
Thank you.
And we're right.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you, Ray, for having us.
And I'm glad the three of you met, because now,
yes.
now, and wait, I want to see all of y'all in some to die for outfits, because I know Diamond Dog, she don't be playing at all. She comes ready. Matter of fact, when
I have to have that.
I met her. I have to tell the story real quick. I met Diamond Dog. When Hard Knocks was in Cleveland, and they wanted a bunch of fans to come up, and we went up and we did the whole thing. And that was my. And wait a minute, and she was so graceful. She gave me, wait a minute, and I still have it.
You still have it
right here. She brought
that. I met him 4 years ago. He gave me this.
She gave this to me. First time meeting her, and she gave this to me, and I still have it, and I still cherish it.
Ooh, what's that?
Somebody's alarm went off. So no.
Time for us to go.
Ladies, we're gonna have to do this again. But again, thank you. I love each and every one of you, and that's our show.